Welcome to this introduction video in which we will focus on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 axes from Russian maker or Siberian maker at that, Sibbulat. There are not a lot of videos on YouTube showing these axes, and the ones that are available on YouTube are all in Russian. So this is going to be the first English speaking video showcasing this specific maker. And I'm gonna say that I do not own all of these axes. I own 2 out of these 9 axes. I will say that I'm probably gonna own 3 of them, because there's one here, this one, that I have to buy as well. So I guess you could say that I will own 3 of them. The rest are going to be sent back. And these axes were not provided to me by the manufacturer. Instead, I was contacted by Lamnia, because they know that I love high quality axes. I have bought a ton of axes from them. I would say that I am their biggest customer when it comes to axes, especially Russian made axes such as Phoenix and Toporzyb in particular. So they told me that, hey, we have this new maker, we want to give them a go or a try. We know that you are into to high quality axes, especially Russian made. So would you like to, take a look at them and, give your honest opinion, since you do have a lot of references. So I said that absolutely, I will take a look at them. I will take a look at their page, the manufacturer page, and go over the specs and decide 1 or 2 axes that I will buy, so that I can put them to good use and good test, and the other models I can showcase. So I own, let's see, it should be one of these axes. Yeah, this one. This is the BOGATYR. That was the first axe that I wanted when looking at the specs. But I also own this one, the ERMAK or ERMAK. I'm not quite sure, because they spell it different from time to time. So there are 2 axes that will be put to hard use. The other axes we're just gonna take a good look at, get a sense of the design, the handle design, the geometry of the head and blade, stuff like that. So, and after that, these axes are going back to Lamnia. But let's start off by unboxing, or not really unboxing, but let's get them out of their carrying cases here, and let's put them up on the table. I will say that the cases here, they feel like pretty solid, textile, sturdy. I think they are kind of waterproof. You also have this that you can put over your shoulder and carry it like that. So it's not. It's nice. It's always nice when you get a carrying system of sorts when you buy an axe. And I can say that these 2, they are special. When you see these blue carrying cases, you're in for something special. But we'll talk more about that in just a bit. So let me just unbox these axes and put them on the table so we can get a better look at them. Here we have all the axes outside of their respective carrying cases. So now we can get a good look at the blade shape, design, and the handle design, overall length and size. So just going for a quick overview. Like this. So my first impression is that these axes look and feel great, and they also look a lot like some of the designs made by Toporzyb And that might not be such a big surprise, since both of those axe makers, Sibbulat, as seen here, and Toporsiv, they are both Siberian axe makers. So I guess there is some similarities to be expected. But there are also a lot of differences, both in design but also in materials used. Toporsiv, for instance, they use these days they use exclusively ash type handle materials, or ash type as handle materials. And Sibbulat, on their hand, they use Amur oak. And I don't have a lot of experience with oak as handle material, or Amur oak at that. And there's also a bit of a difference between steel here, whereas Toporsiv use I don't remember, but they use a laminated steel. I can't remember it on top of my head now. But Sibbulat, on their hand, they are using a steel called, I think it's called 10XHO, which consists of like 1% carbon, under 1% chrome. Then there's nickel, vanadium, and molybdenum, I think it's called. So this is a steel type that I have no personal experience with. Also no personal experience with the handle material being oak. But I think it's always interesting trying out new materials. Then again, I mean, classics like ash or hickory, you never really can go wrong with them. But I mean, there are always other alternatives as well. I will say that the handles look very nice overall. So let's see if we can go over each individual axe a bit here. Give me just 1 second. So let's take a look at each individual axe and go for some specs. So first off, we have the Sibbulat BOGATYR. This is the axe that I decided to buy first. So this one you will see put to some real hard use. It is the total weight of this one is 1.75 to 1.9 kilos. That is specified by the manufacturer. I will put this one on my scales to see what this one weighs more exactly. The handle length should be between 69 centimeters to 70 centimeters. The next axe here, which is a bit different, as you can see, both in handle design and, well, blade and head profile as well. This is the Sibbulat VARYAG. It weighs 1.8 kilos with a handle length of 69 to 70 centimeters. So about the same length and possibly the same weight as well, depending on how much this one actually weighs. So next one up here is the Sibbulat TAIGA. This one should weigh between 1.65 kilos to 1.85 kilos. With a handle length of 48 centimeters. Next one is the Sibbulat SREDNERUSSKIY, which I think translates to something like Central Russia. But anyways, the weight of this one should be between 1 kilo to 1.1 kilo. And the handle length is 48 centimeters on this one as well. Next up, we have the Sibbulat Lumberjack in Damascus. And this is hard to capture on video like this, but it's one great looking axe. So Sibbulat offers a few of their different models in Damascus versions with kind of different Damascus colorings and patterns. So there is a regular version of this lumberjack model as well. The weight of this one is 1.35 kilos to 1.45 kilos. And the length of the handle should be 50 centimeters. I would have to check that up in more detail. So going on here. Oh, this one. I'm fairly sure I will buy this one. Because it's one of the finest axes I have ever seen. Moving on, we have the Sibbulat Knight. This one weighs between 1.6 to 1.8 kilos with a handle length of, or total length of 43 centimeters. Then we have the Sibbulat Carpenter. This one weighs 1.2 kilos to 1.25 kilos. With a handle length of 43 centimeters. Then we have the smallest one of the bunch here, which is the Sibbulat ERMAK or ERMAK. I'm not sure because they spell it differently. But this one weighs between 940 grams to 1 kilo. And it has a total length of 38 centimeters. This was the second one I decided to buy. So this one, I own this one. And I own the BOGATYR. So those two you will see put to hard use. Then there is also, the final axe here is another one, another ERMAK or ERMAK. But this is the Damascus version of it. And it looks quite nice, but it's hard to capture in this room where I'm standing right now. But it is a really, really nice looking axe. And I wanted it, to be able to show the Damascus version and the regular 3-layer version. And I'm gonna go into the specifics of the Damascus that Sibbulat uses, but I'm not gonna go into that kind of details right now. But these are the 9 axes, let's see if I can hold the camera in some good way, that this video will focus on. And I mean, we're not gonna put all of these axes to use because, like I have stated several times by now, I only own 2 of them, or I will say 3 because I'm gonna get that Damascus axe as well. I will buy it. So those are the 2 or 3 axes that you will see put to use. The other ones, I'm just gonna show in detail, discuss the ergos, blade profile, the intended purpose, use of the axe, etc. And then they are going to be shipped back. So I just want to make a as informative video as possible, and then give my honest opinion about the axes and the maker. So I think we should get going right away. Let's start off with the biggest one, working our way down to the smallest one. And I will say again that I bought this one, the BOGATYR, and I also bought the smallest one, the ERMAK or ERMAK, depending on spelling. So those are the 2 axes you will see in actual use. I'm gonna do fine work with them. I'm gonna do some slicing, splitting, chopping, etc. With all the other axes, I will not even cut paper because those are going back and those are going back brand new. So just getting that once again out of the way. So anyway, let's take a look here at the BOGATYR then, or BOGATYR. So this is the carrying case you get with it, waterproof. Quite, sturdy, solid, feels like a good protection for your axe. Nice. Let's see. So here it is in all its glory. So this is one of the larger models offered. by Sibbulat. This is probably the biggest model they offer, I think, at least in total length, and there are other models which weigh almost the same. This is probably the heaviest axe as well. So see here, if you can see, you get this leather protection here. Let's take a look at it as well. We're not going to go over all and each of these leather protections because they are all pretty much the same, but it is a sturdy piece of leather, feels good. Yeah, I mean, what you can expect from a leather protection case for your axe. So I haven't, cleaned off anything. There might be some oil or residue or stuff here on the edge. I will clean it up later. I can say right away, I'm also going to do my own paracord wrapping here and handle wrapping here. But I will say right away that, it feels really, smooth, good, nice smell to it from some, boiled linseed oil or something like that. So it does have, pretty nice, ergos on it, I'd say. Taking a look at the grain orientation, not sure how well it can be seen here. If you look at it like that, then we can take a look here. So the grain orientation may not be, super symmetrical in a sense here, like with the lines going like this, straight or across. But it's not, there is not going to be an issue with that. It is still absolutely good enough, and I speak from experience, believe me. So that is good. Taking a look at the top here, we can see there are some cross wedges that have been done super nice, super smooth. We have a tight fit to the head, no gaps or anything like that. Really, really solid. Let's see. Looking like this, it's kind of hard actually. Maybe I should have thought more about the camera placement. But we can see it is quite symmetrical. Hopefully you can see that. Not uneven. The grind seems to be more or less perfect. I'd say maybe you can hold it like this. Maybe from the side too. It is not easy showing this in the camera, but I will say that the edge and the geometry and everything is very symmetrical and even all the way. We can also see that the back part here is rounded, which is a nice detail to it all. And I'd say the thickness, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it is a semi-thick grind. And I would say that this axe, the purpose of this axe, or why I wanted it, I want to use this as a sort of like a large forest axe for felling, split. I mean, like a do-it-all axe, to be honest. But I consider this one to be a large forest axe. I'm not quite sure what BOGATYR means in Russian. I'm not sure about my pronunciation, but this is to me a large forest axe. It looks like it feels like it, and I honestly can't wait to put this one to some serious work to see how it holds up against some of my other large forest axes from a few different makers. But overall, the fit and finish of this one is really nice. The grain orientation is also good. It could have been perhaps a bit better, but it's definitely not bad in any way. And I mean, it does look, the orientation does look nice overall here, but you can see that it's not, fully straight on the top part and on the back part here. But overall, a really, really nice and solid axe. The ergos are they feel great. I mean, it's almost like I don't want to put any wrapping on it, but I mean, that is my signum and I'm gonna do it regardless, but it does feel super nice. So this is, once again, the Sibbulat BOGATYR, which is, maybe I should bring my scales actually, because this one should weigh between 1.75 to 1.9 kilos. And the handle length should be between 69 to 70 centimeters. And I do believe the handle length is about 70 centimeters, so I'm not gonna, measure that. But it would be kind of interesting actually to put the axes on a scale to see what each individual axe weighs. I think I'm actually gonna do that. Give me a second and I'm gonna bring a scale here. So I'm back with a scale and let's see what this one weighs. I think that this one weighs about 1.7 kilos, to be honest. Definitely not 1.8, not 1.9, definitely not. So we will see. Unit grams. So it weighs 1.65 kilos, I'd say. So it is actually 100 grams lighter than the specified weight. So if that is a good or a bad thing, well, for some people it's going to be a good thing. For others, maybe not. I kind of like axes in this size to be around 1.7 to 1.8 kilos perhaps. 1.9 wouldn't have been a problem, but I do have a lot of heavy axes, especially those from Phoenix, so it's actually pretty nice that this one is around almost 1.7 kilos. But this specific one is 1.65 kilos, so now we have that out of the way. Let's move on with the next one. Next one up is the VARYAG. Let's just unwrap it a bit here and let's take a look. So this one is similar in size to the BOGATYR. I can feel that this one is heavier. I'm not sure about the weight, but it's definitely, maybe it's around 1.8 kilos or something like that. And with a bit different design altogether from the BOGATYR. I still think that this is probably an all-around axe of sorts as well. So speaking about the handle first here, super smooth, nice handle, but I'm not sure about the handle materials on this one. This one looks quite different from all the other 8 axes from Sibbulat. They do say they use Amur oak, but I can't tell what this is, if it is actually some sort of oak, but it doesn't look, I don't know what this is. But looking at the grain orientation to begin with here, not sure how well that can be seen on camera, but the grain orientation on this one is as perfect as they come or get. Looking at the head here, you can see again some cross wedges, nicely done, with perfect grain orientation and a really nice snug fitter. Excellent work. The handle here is a straight handle compared to the other one that I had that was more curved. Sibbulat do seem to use either straight or curved handles. I'm not sure exactly which type of axes get the curved and which type of axes get the straight, but they do differentiate between the two handle designs. So this one, like I said, 69 to 70 centimeters in total length, and that is, I'd say, correct. And the weight of this one should be between, and I'm actually not quite sure, was it? It should be 1.8 kilos, I think, so I guess, and I think that this is should be close to that at least, but we'll have to see. Let's remove the protection here. Let's take a look at the blade. Here you have a very different back part here of the axe, especially compared to the BOGATYR, which was rounded. So this is giving a bit of an extra weight, and you can also use it to strike with as well. Let's take a look at the weight here, because this I think this one should be, it really should be 1.8 kilos, maybe. Yeah, so it is 1,810 grams, so spot on, 10 grams heavier than the specified weight. So I'd say that is definitely in the range. So heavy hitter with perfect grain orientation. Although I am slightly unsure about the tree type used here for the handle, but it feels really nice. I will say though that I personally am a fan of curved handles. I don't even think I own any axe with a straight handle. Maybe I do, but not, maybe like one or two at tops. So, but there are people that do like the straight handles and have that as a preference. So that is of course good for them. So the VARYAG. Let's take a look at the next one then. I just realized I forgot to comment here on the head and on the blade here and the symmetrical parts. As you can see, this one is evenly grounded here, nicely grounded. Once again with a pretty thick edge though here, a lot of meat or steel behind the edge. But then again, might be suitable for the tasks that this axe is supposed to perform at. So just saying that it's nice and evenly made, but with a slightly thick edge. Now we can put this one away for a while. Next up we have the Sibbulat TAIGA. Kind of a heavy axe for its size. So yeah, let's take a look at it like this. Handle design, once again, this is a straight handle. The grain orientation is very good, I'd say. This can be seen here, perhaps. The fitting here of the head, once again, cross wedges. I think they go cross wedges on all their axes, so and they do it really well. Super smooth, no broken, pieces or anything like that, and a really nice, tight fit here. This one is not going anywhere at all. So let's take a look at the blade here. Did we go into details with the blade on the last one? Like the symmetry and stuff? I think I forgot about it. I will revisit that later and add it in. So let's take a look here. We can see that this one is once again really symmetrical. Nice symmetrical grind from top to or sort of top to bottom. And once again, kind of a fairly thick grind on this one as well. but this is a heavy hitter. The weight of this one, I think, starting off with the handle length, I think this one should be 48 centimeters, and it does seem reasonable that this is 48 centimeters to me. The weight should be somewhere around 1.65 to 1.85 kilos, and I think that this is well, maybe not. Yeah, probably definitely in the lower range here. So I'd say maybe around 1.6 kilos. We can use the scales again. So this one weighs 1,538 grams. So once again, this is a bit lighter than the specified weight here. I mean, probably not an issue. Most people tend to like, you know, slightly lighter axes in general. Then again, this is not a light axe by any means. I mean, 1.55 kilos is still a lot of weight on an axe with a handle length of 48 centimeters. So comfortable axe, an axe you can do a lot of hard work with, despite being a smaller axe. I can easily take down, or easily, I mean, taking down a tree with this axe would, you know, not be you know, a problem in any way. You can do pretty much anything with this axe, in my humble opinion. Splitting, chopping, debranching, whatever you feel like doing, this one will do. So yeah, the TAIGA. Next axe here is the Sibbulat SREDNERUSSKIY, Central Russian axe. I think that's the meaning. So now that we're going or moving to a bit lighter axes, there's only the top handle here. There are no like straps here, so you can't carry them over your shoulder. Not a big issue in my opinion, just, you know, just letting you know. So let's take a look at this one. So once again, a straight handle design. Grain orientation is pretty good, I'd say. It's a bit better than the BOGATYR. The BOGATYR was not bad, but it's not, you know, the absolute best, but it's still really good orientation. Looking at the head part here and the fit, we can see that there are, as always, some nice cross wedges that are perfectly done. And there is a super snug fit to the head. I mean, these guys, they know how to handle an axe or put a handle on. They no doubt about that. The length of this one is, I believe, around 48 centimeters as well. Nothing really to it. And the weight of this axe should be, I think, between 1 kilo to 1.1 kilo, and I think they are kind of spot on. This feels just slightly, as it's like 1.05 to 1.1 kilos, I'd say. We can put it on the scale. So it weighs 1,082 grams, so it's definitely within the weight range there. Maybe I should not put on the leather protection. So taking a look at the symmetry here, once again evenly ground. semi-thick ground again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, somewhere in between, I'd say. Rounded back part of the axe. Did I comment on that? On the TAIGA? I think it was rounded as well. Otherwise, I mean, it was obvious if you by just watching, so maybe I don't have to comment every single aspect. So this one feels like a I mean, saying light might be a bit overkill, because 1.1 kilo in this size is, to me, it is a light axe. But I guess there are people out there that think that, you know, well, 700 grams, that would be a light axe. 1.1 kilos, that is not super light. But in my opinion, this is still a fairly light axe, given the handle length as well of 48 centimeters. So it does feel like an adequate weight of an axe for this size. I could easily see myself going with this one for longer, you know, camping trips, or if I know I'm gonna process a lot of wood and stuff and I need a light carry that is not limited by a too small or too short handle length or too light of weight, this one would do the trick. So branching, etc. Felling a tree, well, I mean, you could probably do it, but it wouldn't be, you know, the most pleasant experience, I reckon. I'd probably go with the TAIGA then if I need, you know, an axe of this length. But then I would have a bit more weight behind it. So, but a nice, light, you know, universal do-it-all axe. Next axe, and as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, when you see this blue pouch instead of the black, then you know there's something special going on here. And this is, I'm gonna say it right away, I'm buying this axe. Initially I wasn't going to buy it because I'm not, you know, a collector of fine axes, but I have to make an exception and I might actually put it to some sort of use. But what we have here is the Damascus Lumberjack. So we have a total length of 50 centimeters. Not quite sure if it is actually 50 centimeters, but that is, let's say it is 50 centimeters. And the weight should be around 1.35 to 1.45. And I think this one weighs about 1.3 kilos. It does seem likely, but we can put it on the scale right away. So it weighs 1,340 grams. So that is within the specified weight range. Looking at the grain orientation here on this one, I'd say it is pretty decent. Not the best, but still pretty, yeah, it is okay, I'd say. Not sure it can be seen there. And as always, some cross wedges, like with every single axe here made by Sibbulat, and a tight, snug fit as well. So let's unsheath this one. Man, the light in this room, it sucks. I really want to, you know, show how nice this one looks. It is pretty spectacular, to be honest. I think they call this Damascus type for chameleon Damascus. I have some info I'm gonna talk about later on, but not right now, about the process, you know, how they came up with this specific Damascus type. But you can see the layering here, or hopefully you can see it. It's pretty cool. So I mean, for most people, an axe like this would be something you have as a showpiece, something you put on the wall or in a you know, well, you're not putting it to any use, especially not hard use. Unless you're me, then you might do it. But an exceptional looking axe. Curved handle, which is to my preferences, or like a semi-curved. It's not, you know, pretty straight part here, but it does have some curving here, and then a really, you know, curved, flared bottom part of the handle. So lumberjack, I think it's also called a woodcutter perhaps. I mean, it's in the name. To me, this would be also an all-around axe, much like the one we just took a look at, the SREDNERUSSKIY. But this is, of course, a bit heavier, and also, well, in theory, it does have a 2 centimeter longer handle, but in real life, I'm not sure if that is fully the case. But a fantastic looking axe. Really spectacular. I'm gonna do some other shots of this one so we can take a closer look at the pattern here. Yeah. So lumberjack, Damascus version. There is of course a regular 3-layer version of this, something that I could see myself getting as well at some point, but boy, is this a amazing looking and feeling axe as well. It's just, oh, it speaks to me. Really nice. Oh, let's take a look at I should not forget now to speak about, I got lost in Damascus. We can see once again, straight, symmetrical, even grinds. This one is slightly thinner than the other models we have taken a look at. And I don't know if it's just this one that is slightly thinner here, but that is the case with this one. Fantastic looking axe, really. Next up we have the Sibbulat Knight, a small but kind of heavy axe at that. This is what the Knight looks like. Kind of a beast. Once again we have a contoured handle, and the grain orientation is, I'd say the grain orientation is good on this one. We have some cross wedges as always, and as always they are perfect with a really snug, tight finish or fit with no gaps or anything going on. This one is kind of heavy. I'd say this one is about probably around 1.5 kilos or something like that, 1.5 kilos. We can put it to the weight or to the scales here. 1,485 grams, and it should be between 1.6 to 1.8, it's specified here when I read. So it is slightly lighter than the specified weight, but still a heavy axe, no doubt, especially with the length of the handle, which I think is around 43 centimeters. I think that's supposed to be what it's specified to, and I think this one is indeed 43 centimeters. Looking at the grind here, it is an even grind, symmetrical, rounded back part. Quite a heavy hitter. So this one, well, to me it is probably a bit too heavy to bring as a, you know, camp axe or something like that. Not something I would like to, you know, take down trees with due to the short handle. But you definitely could. You can definitely split wood with this one with ease. Debranching, doing, well, once again, whatever you kind of like. I mean, it's all, axes is a lot about preferences, what people prefer and like. So I mean, maybe I should have cleaned off the blade here. I didn't want to touch them since, like I said, they're going right back, so I haven't, you know, touched them up in any way. But regardless, a compact, heavy hitter, 43 centimeters, 1.5 kilos, nice ergos, but you're gonna need some muscles to back this one up and to work with it for a while. But definitely nice fit and finish, as with all of the axes we've seen so far from Sibbulat. And yeah, the Knight. Next up, we have the Sibbulat Carpenter. This one is also 43 centimeters in total length with a curved handle, slightly thinner handle. I don't know if it's, you know, specifically for this model or if it was just this piece of tree that was slightly thinner. I think I prefer this slightly thinner version than the thicker one on the Knight. But once again, it's all personal preferences. Same length, but definitely not same weight. This one is a few hundred grams lighter. I'd say this one is probably around 1.3 kilos, something like that. Taking a look at the grain orientation, it's pretty good. Not the best, but still really, really nice. And once again, cross wedges done perfectly. No gaps, no nothing. It is super nicely fit there, the head. It's not gonna go anywhere. So taking a look at the weight of this one. What did I say? Well, it should be around 1.2 to 1.25 kilos. I said 1.3 because well, whatever. Let's see what this one weighs. It feels a bit heavier. So this one is 1,322 grams. So it is actually a bit heavier than the specified specs for the weight. Not a big deal of that. So a Carpenter axe, or it's called a Carpenter axe, which should mean that it is a bit more, you know, not a single purpose axe by any means, but a bit more, I can't find the word right now, but it has, you know, a specific function that it was designed for. I'm not 100% sure I can see the, you know, Carpenter aspect of this axe. To me it looks sort of like a general use axe. It's not, you know, a straight edge or anything. Looking at the geometry here, it is once again, speaking of the head, it's a rounded head. We got straight symmetrical lines here. Once again, semi-thick here behind the edge. That really does seem to be a trait of all these Sibbulat axes. Doesn't have to be, you know, bad in any way. I mean, I have yet to put them to use, but I know some people like, you know, thinner grinds than what is seen here, for example. But pretty much all people like even grinds, so that is a really good thing. So 1.3 kilos, 43 centimeters, nice ergos. yeah. If you know you like this size, this weight, this could be for you. Here we have the two final axes, because they are the same model, just that we have one that is the regular 3-layer steel and we have one that is the Damascus version. So let's take a look at this one. This is the ERMAK or ERMAK. I really need to check up how you pronounce that, and how you spell it. The grain orientation is not super easy to see here on the lower part here, due to some small run out. Not an issue, don't worry about it. Oh, this is my axe and I'm going to put it to the test, so I say do not worry about it. The head here, we can see, here we can actually see more of the grain orientation. It's cross wedged as well. Snug tight fit here, feels super comfortable. No issues. We can also of course see the grain orientation just looking at the handle like this. So this is a pretty light axe. I need to check here what it should weigh. I'd say that this is about 1 kilo, maybe not even that. But it is specified as, let's see, it is specified at 940 grams to 1 kilo. So, and I do think that this one is within that range. It feels super light in hand at least. And it will be better if we put this one to grams. This one weighs 961 grams, so it is well within that size range or weight limit or weight range. So this is my definition of a light camp axe alternative. Slightly heavier than your typical like Hultafors Hulton or Gränsforsbruks outdoor axe or Phoenix Starina Hawk. But to me this feels pretty much perfect. So this could be, the sort of axe or hatchet I've been looking for quite some time. The ergos are great. It's a curved handle. It's the perfect thickness. Looking here at the symmetry, straight and nice, kind of thick once again, but that does not have to be an issue. It's all about preferences. But I will definitely put this one up against my other hatches in the same size range. This one is, did I mention it? This one is 38 centimeters, which is probably what the Hultafors Hulton and the Gränsforsbruks outdoor axe is as well. So this to me feels like a real winner. Not something you're gonna, chop down a tree with and enjoy doing, but for light camp duty, this one will be great. That is why I decided I wanted this one. So I went with the smallest axe that Sibbulat could offer me, and I also went with their largest version, so we get some good variety. And then I'm also going with Damascus Lumberjack now. So I have something in between as well. We can also take a quick look here at the Damascus version of the ERMAK or ERMAK here. So once again, we do have some pretty crappy light conditions here, but this is a bit different. The Lumberjack has a more bronze-like multicolored Damascus, whereas this one is the more typical black and silver look, sort of. It is pretty amazing, right? Rounded back part as well, of course. We can see what this one weighs as well. So this one is 860 grams, so it is even lighter. I could definitely see myself picking this one up as well, but right now I just can't Well, simply put, I can't afford buying as many axes as I want, or knives for that matter. So I guess this one will be someone else's priced Damascus axe. But it is amazing. We're gonna take some really nice detailed shots of the two Damascus axes later, and we're gonna talk about the steel properties and all that. So that concludes all the axes for these sort of walkthroughs of sorts. Let's continue with maybe taking a closer look at the Damascus axes, and then doing some work with my actual users. Maybe doing some comparisons as well. We have done a lot of talking about the axes now. We have gone through all the specs, the different models that I have, etc. And it's now time to start putting the axes to some real, tests and uses. So we're gonna start slow by doing a sharpness test here. We're gonna slice the magazine paper, see how these axes perform doing that. And I know that, slicing paper is not something that you generally do a lot when you get an axe, but it is, in my opinion, still a good test of the sharpness. So that is why we're gonna do it. So let's start with this. Let's start with the smaller one, I think. The smaller one being the ERMAK. And here we have a magazine with some, it's just regular magazine paper, nothing really special to it or about it. So let's go with a piece like that, and the ERMAK. I did clean it up with some ballistic oil here because it was a bit greasy and stuff. So, but now it is clean and nice. So hopefully this can be visible in the camera. I guess, I'm not sure. Could I be closer like this perhaps? Yeah, it doesn't really matter as long as you can see something. Very, very nice, smooth cutting action. Let's take one more. So this one, I'm not gonna lie, this axe is probably among the sharpest axes that I have, at least when doing this test. So I think there are maybe like 3 to 5 other axes that are as sharp as this one, but this is definitely top tier sharpness. Absolutely, no doubt about that. I mean, it's really... Yeah, I've got to say that this is probably top 3 of my sharpest axes. Wow. So this is actually very, very impressive. So that is the sharpness test with the Sibbulat ERMAK. Really, really sharp axe, judging from this test. Next up, we have the Sibbulat BOGATYR. So this is a slightly larger axe. I can't in fact fit it in the camera, but yeah. Let's see if this can slice paper just as well as as the ERMAK. See that. See. Yeah, this is also a a really sharp axe, or sharp edge of the axe. Jesus. Yeah, so very impressive. Oh, I didn't see there were a bunch of papers in between us, so that was not the best of tests. Let's see if we can get a single page only like that. See if we can do some movement and curves and stuff like that. This is it's slightly heavier on the hand, but it will slice paper incredibly well. I just need to make some space here for this part of the handle. It's not very easy I'm working with, so. So I think that from, you know, a sharpness perspective of sorts, sliced up magazine here, I would rate, you know, I never really, you know, rate the axes in sharpness, you know, by a specific number or anything. But if I were to rate these two axes in paper slicing, I would give them yeah, probably like a 9.5 or a 10 even. This one a 10, this one a 9.5, but maybe because it was a bit cumbersome to, you know, get good movements with the axe since it's so long of a handle, and I have a bit limited space here. But really, really, really impressive sharpness of these edges. Super impressive. So I think we can do maybe some more sharpness tests. I think I'm gonna go for some shaving of arm hair or leg hair, see if we can do that. But the interesting aspect later on is going to be how well the edge retention is, how well does it hold an edge, and how strong is the edge, or how tough is the edge. But for paper slicing, this is about as good as it gets. And I mean, like I always say, I have experience with a ton of different makers, all the big makers, Gränsfors Bruks, Hultafors, Hultsbruk, Toporsib, Phoenix, Annika Custom a bit as well now, Orteen Tools, etc. I do have a lot of experience with different makers, and this is about how sharp an axe can, well, not can get, but it is super, super slicey. I'm very impressed. As I stated, I kind of want to do a shaving test here, but I'm running out of arm hair, I'm running out of leg hair, so I do have a bit of leg hair left here on my right leg, so let's see if we can work with that. Oh, okay, let's see. Here's the leg. There's not a lot of hair. I wonder if it's even visible here, but yeah, let's see what we can do here. So we do get some hair, but like I said, it's not and it's, I can't even. It's tricky, you know, but we do have a white background, so maybe all the hair is visible here on the table. I'm not quite sure. Otherwise, we're gonna have to try to get it up here on the on the axe. That does seem to prove difficult. So it will shave hair, effortless. Sharp axe. Sharp axe indeed. Let's take this away. See if we can. Any leg hair left here on my. That's really tricky. Let's see if we can do like. Crap! I'm not even sure if we can. It's hard. Let's see. Let's zoom in a bit. Hold on here. So it's really hard. I don't know what can be seen or not in the camera. There is a bit of hair, but can perhaps be seen. Super difficult. Take anything more here. See what we can do. So, I mean, this is hard because I don't have a lot of hair. Otherwise it would have been a lot easier to show the shaving capabilities of sorts. But it will shave hair, absolutely. Yeah. Let's zoom out a bit, or maybe not zoom out, doesn't really matter. To sum it all up then. These two axes are super slicing. They will slice paper incredibly well. They will also shave leg hair, even if it's really fine leg hair, effortlessly. So my opinion about these two axes is that they are very, very, very sharp. And like I said, I'm not going to test all the other axes, but I will make an assumption and say that they are probably just as sharp as these two. I could test the sharpness of the Damascus axe, the Lumberjack, and perhaps the ERMAK as well if I buy that one too, because I feel like I might need to buy both of them. But that will be later in the Damascus segment of the video, or if I make a totally separate Damascus Sibbulat video, I'm not sure. But sharp axes. By now we know that these two axes are really sharp. They can slice paper extremely well. They can also shave leg hair really well. So is there anything else you want your axes to do? Well, perhaps there is. So next up we're gonna try making some feathers for starting a fire. So let's proceed with that. We're gonna start with the smaller axe, the ERMAK here, and then just go with one of these pieces of trees. That's that. Let's see what we can accomplish. So we're going with the smaller one, the ERMAK first, and a random piece here of wood. Hopefully some mud on it. That would be good for an edge retention test. Regardless, this is the piece we will go with, even if there is some mud on it. So we do get some random feathers. I can try some more. This is sort of what we get when doing this. May not be the best or finest feathers, but it can also be due to the type of tree that I am doing these feathers on. But it's still super, I mean, this will work well to get a fire started. Absolutely. Try some with the bigger axe here as well. Give me a second. So next up we go with the large BOGATYR. See if we can get some feathers going with this semi-beast of an axe. I felt like we had something good going there in the beginning, but it got semi-lost on the way. And we got some feathers there. Let's see. Takes quite a bite, this axe. which is of course not a bad thing most of the time, but depending on how fine feathers you want, that bite can become semi-tricky. Not gonna lie, I'm getting a bit tired in my hand, but I mean, from these pieces we did get some fire starting wood material of sorts, looking like this. There's one running away over there. Come on. So I mean, yeah. The big one, the BOGATYR, it bites kind of deep, but it is still possible to get some fire starting material of sorts. And here we have the other. Combine it and start a fire here on the table. It's a really good idea, actually, to be honest. So like that. Now seriously, we're not going to start a fire here on the table, but now you have a general idea of sorts that you can make semi-decent feathers with these tools. Probably better feathers depending on the type of tree that you are working with. Feathers, nonetheless. So, we're finally out. We are at my friend's place, so I have permission to take down certain trees, especially birch. So no need to cry about that in the video. We're gonna use the BOGATYR, the larger one, or the largest one that I got. So let's see if we can take this one down with not too much work. So yeah. Let's see. Uneven ground. Yep, getting close. Let's take a look at here. Let's bring the camera closer. You know what? Let's place the axe on top there instead. Smooth, semi-smooth cut. So the tree is now leaning on some other trees. So you're gonna have to get it down on the ground. Nice bite mark. There we go. So So let's see if we can do some more work here with this one. Maybe do some branching, delimbing, maybe cutting the log in half. Yeah, let's see what we can do. So let's see if we can cut this in half now, make smaller pieces of logs. So yeah, let's give it a go. So, let's see. There's definitely some weight to it. See if we can get the camera focus a bit. Nice clean cuts. Super smooth. Very, very nice and impressive. So let us continue to work with this tree that we took down, but changing the axe to the smaller here, the ERMAK. Usually I would have still used the large axe, but this is a video where I want to showcase these models. So we will do some different works, even if one axe is better than another for some tasks. So let's start by removing this branch here. And let's take a look at the clean cut. If we can get the focus going, which maybe we can't. Clean off. Let's see. I'm gonna remove some. I think this might be off camera, but remove this one as well. Once again, clean cut. So let's see if we can now chop this in half. Yeah. Semi-good chunks. Might not be super visible, but there we go, and it's in half. So let's take a slightly closer look with the camera. So it was definitely a bit more work than if I would have used the BOGATYR, but it certainly was not that bad. I didn't bring my Phoenix Starina hawk with me. It would be interesting putting the Starina up against the ERMAK. The ERMAK is of course more of an axe design, whereas the Starina hawk is, well, it's in the name, it's more of a hawk. But it would sure be interesting to put them up together. I think I might do that in a future video of sorts. Yeah. So, not bad at all. Not bad at all. So, taking the tree down, splitting it in half, was actually quite a good experience. These axes will perform well, and I think I brought my magazine paper with me, so maybe we can try some sharpness tests right away. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. Could be interesting. Just gonna set up my camera a bit. Yeah. Okay, I brought my magazine with me here so we can do some field sharpness testing. We're gonna start with the BOGATYR, the one we took down the tree with. I'm gonna be honest, we haven't done super hard work here with these axes, so I expect them to be kind of sharp still. But let's just see if we can find a page. This will definitely be a test for the, for edge damage. And I can see there is no edge damage, just like that. But let's start with a page like this. Hopefully it is visible in the camera. So let's go. So it does seem like the BOGATYR is still quite sharp. Can do one more page. Yeah, the BOGATYR is still scary sharp, or well, maybe not scary sharp, but it's really sharp. So then we try the ERMAK. I'm not sure which axe has taken the hardest beating, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. So this paper here is kind of, it has gotten wet. Maybe not a super big issue. Whatever, let's just try this one out as well now. Hopefully visible in the camera once again. Trying to get away from me. See if we can get a new page up here. It was kind of difficult. Let's see. Is this visible? I hope it's visible. So it shaves, it slices paper really well. Initially I thought it had lost maybe a bit of the sharpness, but I realized it was just me holding the paper or holding the axe in a strange way, and that the sharpness is indeed really good still. So yeah, both axes are still nice and sharp. Let's see if we can do some other work here with this particular tree perhaps, or with something else. Yep. See, let's go for some extra delimbing while we're at it. So is this still visible in the camera? Perhaps. So, yeah. So let's go for some branching or delimbing, but using the BOGATYR this time instead. So. It's really, you know, super clean cut. Like a freaking lightsaber. Let's see if I can raise it up a bit here. I'm not really sure what's visible or not on the camera. Am I moving too far away perhaps then? See, I don't really know. Doesn't get any cleaner than that. Doesn't matter. This will branch in the nicest of ways. So here is a piece of a branch that I just removed here. So let's see if we can do something with this one. Maybe try to shave off some feathers, perhaps. So we made a small bouquet here of sorts. But this wouldn't burn very well because it's, I mean, it's fresh, it's green, but still. And on the other end here, we got this pointy thing. We can probably make it a bit better. It's just that it's I hate the focus on this camera. Now we're getting focus. Interesting. Quite pointy or stabby. Now we're getting quite a fine tip here. That's gonna be totally out of focus as always, but even so. So the axe will work for carving. This was the BOGATYR. We can carve the other side with the ERMAK. So here we have the ERMAK, so we will use it to fix the other side. When I cut this off before, it did friggin' focus. It did, whatever. I'm just gonna cut this into a spear as well. Nothing more to it really. Or it is a bit too broken perhaps. See what I can do to the best of my ability. Well, I mean, yeah, now we have a nice boar protection stick. So we did take this piece from the tree and we want to have it in focus. So easy access to work with, to carve, to make spearheads or spear-like sticks of sorts. Camera just doesn't want to work with me. Pointy, yeah. So here we have another small twig or stick that I removed from the tree. So let's see if we can make a double spear stick out this one as well, perhaps. In seconds we have made something really stabby. Ouch. Yeah. So let's go with BOGATYR on the other side. Slippery because it's wet and the axe is large, so a lot easier working with the ERMAK when doing small stuff like this. But both axes will of course make it happen, you know. Yeah. So now we have a really fine tip here as well, so dual stick of sorts. Let's try and make some small notches and stuff in this tree here. So let's see. Let's make another notch here. Oh, maybe let's just let it be added. Just some, fine messing around here. Nothing really special, but just, to show the fine work you can do with an axe like the ERMAK. You can probably do this with the BOGATYR as well, but being as large as it is, I feel like that would be very, uncomfortable trying to do something like this. It is now time for the final practical test with the ERMAK and the BOGATYR. And we're now gonna do some regular wood splitting. I have brought out some different sized pieces of wood here. We have birch, we have fir, we have a combination of different tree types. So let's, I think we're gonna start with the BOGATYR and then we're gonna chop up the smaller pieces with ERMAK. So let's get this started. And I will say that all of these pieces of wood here, they are really heavy and damp because, well, it's been super cold here, and right, you know, like one day ago or maybe even today, we started getting some warmer temperature. So it's still semi-frozen but also really wet. Just say, you know, FYI, so to say. So let's see. Hopefully this is visible in the camera, or so I hope. Let's see, like this. Maybe it's better if I stand. I don't know really where I should be standing, but but this is not the best placement. I don't know for sure. Oh. Let's save these pieces perhaps for the ERMAK, or we could go with some other pieces altogether. Let's try this one. Perhaps. Maybe we should save this one for the ERMAK. Go with, I don't know, this one. Maybe save this one for the ERMAK as well. So this is a piece that could be potentially tricky, but we will just have to see. Or not too tricky, perhaps. Yeah, so let's just let's go with this one. And lots of snow. So this one could be very interesting, I think. Weighs quite a lot. So, yeah. Nice. See that? Not bad. Not bad. We'll save this one for the ERMAK as well. So that was the splitting with the BOGATYR. I think it's safe to say that this one will split quite nicely. A really nice ergo. So I think splitting wood is probably what people do the most with their axes. But I don't think most people actually own dedicated splitting axes. I haven't even seen if Sibbulat makes a splitting axe to begin with. But as you can see, this one will still work as one. Or not as one, but you can use it for splitting. At least these types of wood and these types of diameter and, you know, stuff like that. So let's switch axe now and go with ERMAK. Do some smaller chopping here. Is it better if I stand over here perhaps? Not quite sure. So I will say, like I always say, that I don't like splitting wood with small axes. I think that, you know, an axe like this is not really, you know, suitable for splitting wood, especially on a wood stump like this. But we will do it regardless, just for the hell of it. Ice is already freezing on top. Okay, so this is the ERMAK. So it will also split wood. Let's go for some more pieces. Not the best hit. Did get small piece off. When we get inside, we should maybe do a edge retention test, because we had a lot of ice and snow and dirt here, but I don't think there's going to be any issues. So I think this concludes the splitting test. We can see that you can split easily with the ERMAK, and you can split even easier with the BOGATYR. So I think it's time for me to sum up my thoughts about these two models and the maker, and maybe start, recording my final thoughts. Yeah. I guess I could go inside and see if I can get some magazine paper, and then we can do a edge retention test. That could be interesting actually. Give me a second here. Here we have a, you know what, I'm gonna zoom in a bit. Let's see. Maybe move a bit closer too. Like that perhaps. So now we can see or test the edge retention here. Why am I still wearing gloves? It's not even that cold. Damn paper. The paper is damp. Makes it a bit tricky. So I haven't done any sharpening to this axe. I did use it in the woods yesterday as well. I only cleaned it up a little, but I did not sharpen it. So what you see here is actually the edge retention from all the work we have done with this axe so far. So I would say that this one is pretty sharp still. Then we can take a look at the BOGATYR. So I'd say that this one is pretty sharp as well. So now we can conclude this chopping video and this all the practical aspects of the video. Now I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna write down some of my thoughts about this maker and the different models, and then I'm gonna make the final segment of the video, which will be my my conclusion. But I can tell you right now that I like these two axes. They are pretty damn good. So stay tuned. So the time has come to summarize my experience with the axes from Sibbulat, or at least the ones that I have put to use myself. So from the very beginning, this was not a maker that I knew anything about. When I was contacted about Sibbulat by Lamnia, I had no previous knowledge of the maker. But I did some reading up and knowing that they have been in the business for a long time, that they had been working with metallurgy and working with different types of metals and steels, etc., and doing research, I did get sort of intrigued. So and looking at the photos of the axes and reading the specs sure got me interested, but finding any videos it was kind of difficult. I still haven't found a single video where these axes are put to use, but I did find some videos, all of them in Russian, that were, just kind of, showing the axes a little bit, but nothing, in detail or anything. So I felt like it was still sort of a wild card, quite an interesting experience to work with these axes, knowing not too much about them. So overall, I have been I was gonna say, like, positively surprised, but I mean, I'm not quite sure that is the right wording, but I will say that I have really enjoyed my time with these axes. First impressions were really good. I didn't know much about the steel, and I was unsure about the handle material, being oak handles and stuff like that, but my initial impressions were quite good. I've got to say that, so if we go through the different parts here, starting with the carrying cases here, or I don't even know what to call these in English, but I'm gonna go with axe carrying cases. So I think that these ones are the best in class. They are quite sturdy, they're waterproof, they are tailor fit, or whatever you can call it. So I think they are really nice. They feel like they are of higher quality than the cases you get with Torpor, for example. And well, I mean, with some makers you don't get this carrying case to begin with. I mean, with Phoenix you don't really get any carrying case, nor do you get any carrying case with Annika Custom. You don't get them with Hultafors or Gränsfors Bruks. So, well, maybe there is not a whole lot to compare with, but just the fact that you do get a carrying case and that it is of high quality, that is a good start. The leather protection for the edge is also quite nice and sturdy. So that is, that's a nice, good first sign in my opinion. The tree handles. So the oak handles, the ones that I've been using, has held up, without any issues whatsoever. The grain orientation overall is good. On some of the axes it could be better, but it could definitely be a lot worse. So I mean, overall I will say that the grain orientation and the pieces, the fibers, etc. is good. With long fibers and stuff like that. So I think that that is a good thing as well. Looking at the steel here, the steel has been holding up great on the axes that I have put to use here. The edge retention seems to be really good as well, and no signs of any rust or corrosion or anything like that. The edges are tough, we know that by now. I did mention in the beginning of this video, I think, that commenting on all these different axes, I said that the edge is kind of that is kind of thick behind the edge, and I did some comparisons just to make sure I wasn't making a mistake when I said that. But I will say that they're not the thinnest of edges, but they are definitely not the thickest either. Comparing them with Phoenix and Torpor, they are about the same kind of. And as we have already seen in the videos I've made, they will slice fine, they will do fine tasks, they will chop, split, etc., feather as well. So that is the thickness of the edge is not an issue in practical use. The only thing I haven't done is on the food prep. I could have sliced up an orange or something like that, and it would have performed quite well. I'm 100% sure. But that is the only thing we did not test. But just thought I'd say that. And I also want to say that you know, the edge geometry, etc., is well, in every aspect that I have put, you know, in every task that I have used these axes for, the geometry has worked well, so they seem to know what they're doing. Moving on, let's see, what did I write? Yeah, the designs. What I kind of like about Sibbulat, let's say that I compare them to TOPRSIB, I think that Sibbulat has a better variety in designs, both in terms of handle designs, with the, you know, with the straight handles, with the semi-curved and with the curved handles. So that is just in handle design. I think that Sibbulat offers a better variety. I also prefer the handles of Sibbulat to the handles of TOPRSIB, because the Sibbulat handles are slightly thinner. I do think that TOPRSIB needs to make their handles slightly thinner. I mean, for me that's not a big issue. I can just, you know, take some sandpaper or you know, thin them down myself. But for other people, that might be more of an, you know, an issue of sorts. But and in terms of actual axe head designs, I also prefer I prefer Sibbulat over TOPRSIB, because we also have a better variety in axe head designs and weights. Just overall, I think I do prefer Sibbulat over TOPRSIB. Speaking of steel properties, etc., I'm not sure which maker has the better steel. They might, you know, be a TAIGA or something like that. Both are great steels, so that's a good thing. So as you can see here on the table now, we have a bunch of axes here and we have 4 axes over here, and that is because these axes are untouched pretty much. They have not been put to any use or anything, not even slicing paper, not a thing. But these 4 axes over here, they have been, well, 2 of them has been put to use, of course, the BOGATYR and the ERMAK. But we also have the LUMBERJACK Damascus and the ERMAK Damascus here. And that is because I totally fell in love with these 2 axes. So I had to buy them. And they were not, you know, super cheap, but not, you know, astronomically expensive either. But the value for the money is totally worth it. These 2 are my grail axes now. My absolute finest tools of all the tools I have. I think that these 2 axes are probably finer than most of my knives. And well, some of you guys know that I own a couple of knives, so 2 really special axes. Man, I was trying to resist. I I wanted to spend the money on some other things, but in the end, I just couldn't. I can't send them back, so I had to contact Lamnia and arrange for some payments, and well, it is what it is, right? I'll see if I dare put them to any use. I did try slicing some paper and stuff, and they are shaving sharp, no doubt. So 4 axes staying with me. And if I could have had it, my way completely, I would have bought 2 more axes here. I would have bought the TAIGA and the SREDNERUSSKIY. Those 2 axes are my style. They are straight handles, which is kind of not my style, but so they just felt nice, really nice in hand. I liked the length of the handles. I like the total weight of each of those 2 axes, and I also like the blade profiling. So or the profile of and general design of the respective heads. So in the next, well, I hope there will be a next run of these axes over at Lamnia. Then I will put in an order for a SREDNERUSSKIY and TAIGA. to be honest, I could own them all. I mean, they're all super nice, but it's just not. Well, we can't have everything we want. As simple as that. So what more should we say before finishing up this video? Yeah, I'm not sure if I forgot anything. I think I've gone through my list sort of here. In conclusion, these axes are great looking tools. They feel great in hand. Sibbulat is a serious high quality maker with a wide variety in axes. Their Damascus axes are the best I've seen, and I have seen Damascus axes from Sib and from Phoenix and some other makers, but this is seriously, this is in a league of their own. Quite impressive. So yeah, I'm really happy. I got the chance here to try these axes out. I think it's extra fun to be able to make the first video showing actual use and also the first video in English. I hope you have enjoyed watching this kind of long video. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be, probably over 2 hours, I'd reckon, with all the footage included. And these axes should be available at Lamnia, I think sometime in the beginning of March. So you all have something to look forward to. I don't even know all the models, or maybe I do know all the models that will be released, but I have not taken a look at all of the models. At this table we have eight different models. But I think there's gonna be like, maybe not 8 more, but 5 more models that we have, that I haven't taken a look at or put to any use or anything. But there's going to be a good variety of models, if I put it like that. So and the pricing on these, I don't know in my head all the prices. But I'd say that they are priced around, somewhere in between, like the Phoenix and the axes from Sib. Maybe actually a bit cheaper than Sib, which is sort of ironic, since I kind of feel like these are equal or even better than Sib. To be fully honest, or more functional, sort of. So yeah, really nice axes, functional pieces of art. That would be my concluding words, I think. So over and out.